always let my kids know I am there to protect, provide. Your mother's there to care, love, nurture. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to be your father. I'm here to get you ready for the world outside, which is cruel. You won't like me now, but you will love me when I'm gone. I ran into her, I saw her work, I said, you're really good at the social media stuff. And she goes, wow, yeah, I know, thank you. I wish I could do this full time, but my mom wouldn't approve it. And it's funny because it almost like had a little spark in me and it felt like, wow, this is something I felt like. Because as kids, we always want to do things, but our biggest killers, dream killers are our parents.
Yep.
I make sure that when my kids tell me anything, I don't laugh at it. I say, that's amazing. You can do anything you put your mind to. One thing I've learned from great people like, investors like Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, Tony Robbins, Warren Buffett, is never put all your eggs in one basket.
Welcome to the Victory Lion Podcast. Lion!
Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
And now your host,
Opi Jayasinghe.
Hey everyone, it's Opi here. Welcome to the Victory Line podcast. The first episode, actually. I ended up flying up to Brisbane last week and caught up with one of my good mates, John Solomon, who is a serial entrepreneur. I had the opportunity to chat with him about parenting, entrepreneurship, product development, marketing, mentorship, family and work-life balance, mindset, and finally a bit of crypto as well. He is really passionate about what he does, works unbelievably hard, humble guy, but I'm sure you'll get some golden nuggets like I did. And it was a pleasure catching up with John. So enjoy the podcast. All right, Johnny. Thanks, my time.
Thanks for having me.
So I spent the last day with you.
I
It's
know.
been awesome.
It's been amazing.
Thank you for having me, and I've enjoyed the time with the kids. You've done an incredible job in raising them. Obviously, the values are there. This morning I was listening to them do their affirmations. How did that start off?
Oh, I think growing up for me was a lot about appreciation. I come from a very humble beginning, didn't have much, so all we had was the attitude of gratitude. And I noticed, my firstborn, he was waking up grumpy every morning, and I guess angry, and we didn't understand why. So we wanted to get into this notion of the first notion you have is to get up with thankfulness. And it's helped so much. And that's how it all started. First it started about I'm kind, I'm loving, I'm loved, I'm beautiful. And it becomes your inner voice. No matter what anyone says that day, you know you're powerful. And that's how it started. And now the boys do it every day.
I remember you started this very earlier on.
Right? I think we
With
started
Kai,
from a year when they were like, even Christopher, my second, so I've got two kids,
Yeah.
Kai and Christopher. And Kai's 9, Christopher's 8. When Kai was doing it at 4 years old, Christopher was 2, and he was following him. He couldn't even speak properly, and he used to make sounds and just mimic his brother.
He's just, you can see that he looks up to his older brother. Even though he's got the outward personality, he still looks up to his older brother and you, and
And you, they look up to you too.
I'm thankful that I didn't expect it like that sort of relationship. So I mean, we met more than a decade ago now, right? Probably
Yes.
2010-ish.
Yeah, more than a decade ago.
Yeah, almost 15 years now. Tell me your backstory, Johnny, because I've met you and we've grown closer and closer and closer, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the years. But tell me your backstory. You traveled here.
So I was made in India.
Nice.
Like a lot of
I like.
countries, yeah. I was made in India. But I was always moving. My dad, he left India. I was born in 87. My dad left in 89. Sorry, I was born in 83. My sisters were born in 87. So I'm bad with numbers.
No, good.
So my dad left in 87, 88. That's when he left. And yeah, pretty much didn't have a father figure growing up, even though he did his best to kind of raise us and send money, because we come from a very humble, small upbringing.
Yeah.
We,
I thought you were going to say, I come from a middle class background.
I wish I came from it. I didn't. This was like, I would say, really rags to riches kind of story where mom didn't have much, but there was lots of love. She taught me the power of stacking and just making sure, faith. Faith was huge for mom. I was born into a Catholic family. I am not religious. I'm very spiritual. I'm a huge believer in energy, and I think that's what we connected on.
Well,
Well,
that's
energy.
funny, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because we both come from very two different religious backgrounds.
Yeah.
So energy for me is huge, and I think that's why you said you didn't expect this from my kids. My kids are huge. I always tell my kids you don't need to know someone to know their energy. And when the moment they met you, they came to me and said, "Okay, I know why Uncle Opi is your friend, and I know why he's your best friend."
Yeah.
And I think Kai told you yesterday he wanted you to be his
I
godfather.
know. I was taken back. I was just like, oh. And I made a little, probably an inappropriate joke. Yes, don't ever take, from the family or whatever, the Godfather thing. But
He didn't get it.
I didn't get it, obviously, and I didn't even quote the line properly. But I should have taken it more seriously and given the. I think I did afterwards. But it was, yeah, they're cool kids.
So yeah, energy is huge in this family. They feel my energy when I come back having a bad day. They feel my energy when they know I'm not happy with a few things, and vice versa. When I pick them up, I know something's wrong. So energy was huge. So growing up, it was all about for me understanding energies in people because India could be very hostile as a kid growing up when you don't have a father figure and everyone's out to get you. So for me, it was being appreciative, being in that sense. And my mom was big on making a name for herself, and the way she saw that was through studies. Back then, that's the only way you either engineer, doctor, or have some sort of corporate role. So studies was good, but I always put a lot of emphasis on sports. Then I came to Australia to do my double masters. I got a master's in applied science and business IT.
Nice.
Nice, however, I think I did it for my mom, not for myself. For anyone listening out there, I would say invest in yourself rather than don't confuse knowledge and wisdom, and don't confuse book smart with actually the hunger to learn things. The past 6 years has taught me. I don't know which camera to look at, but
Look at that one.
the past 6 years has taught me more than I've learned in the past 20 years in school or college or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I came to do my master's, got a corporate job, while doing my master's, I was working multiple jobs, right from cleaning toilets to washing dishes to managing bars to like being at call centers, and I've done pretty much everything under the sun. So I know what it is to work my way from the bottom to the top, purely because I wanted to understand the ethos and how things work. So I'm a huge nut when it comes to understanding why. I love to understand why. I don't know. It's a pet peeve. I want to know. It's like this hunger to just know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very much an ethnic thing, right? The whole, I think our parents' generation and even some of our generation confuse becoming a doctor, lawyer, high five accountant or engineer with riches and status. And, some of them might be true, but I know heaps of doctors who are miserable,
Yeah.
depressed, don't get to see their kids. And that's how I suppose you and I think a little bit differently, right?
Well, we met when we were in corporate together. We met when we were at ANZ. After I left ANZ, I moved to Brisbane. I started working here. Again, did some great stuff with corporate consultancy. Money was great. Traveling all across Australia, limousine pickup, hotel transfers, everything was. But I realized I was dead inside. There was no purpose. I was great at what I did.
Yeah, you were killing it back then,
But
right?
I just came back home. I didn't have any connection with my kids, with the family. There's no balance. So I had to ask myself what I want to do. So this phase where this transition happened where I wasn't working anymore. And I had a choice whether to go back to work, get another job, 9 to 5, or actually figure out what I wanted to do. And to be honest, it was depressing. There were days I couldn't get out of bed because as a man, you want to provide, you need to have some sort of purpose, and I didn't have that. But I asked myself one thing, actually two things: what do I love doing? How can I serve? And I love making people smile. You know that, whether it's through my food or conversation. And I was like, okay, how can I implement this in a way to make people smile? And food and drink is something that I'm really passionate about.
Absolutely.
And was like, okay, there's enough. I can't get into food because for me, from that analyst mindset, it's like, how can I have a good balance as well? So it was first. I actually believe it, and a lot of people don't know this. I went into spices, and I tried creating a spice brand, but then quickly I iterated and realized that it wasn't scalable. I'm a huge fan of being flexible on the blueprint, but being stubborn on my vision. My vision is to leave a legacy.
And this was a Soulmix.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
Soulmix. When I started Soulmix, it was how can I leave a legacy? How can I empower? How can I teach my kids to be brave when I can't be brave? So that was the mission I was on, and then something came to mind. I was like, let's do chai, because that get always comforted me, and I'm not a huge coffee drinker, so chai was always that go-to ritualistic comfort place for me.
Yeah.
Plus, also it's a placeholder in India where if we have, let's go have a chai. It's for everything and anything, right from a wedding to a business meeting to just chilling or just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
But then it was, how can I make chai sexy? What makes me different from others? So then it came with my journey on developing products, and yeah, we've got a whole range. We started with this over here. This is Amasalachai, NBP. This has dates in it. That's what made it unique. It's a totally inclusive product. So when I started my brand, I hate labels. So I made it, the mantra was made for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's made for people who like caffeine, who don't like caffeine, vegans, non-vegans, gluten-free. So it was an all-encompassing brand.
I remember when you first kicked this off, it was a massive R&D phase, right? You took it really seriously, and I didn't think you were, turning this into a business at that point in time, but you were just doing full on, mix after mix, and I would be the recipient of some of those mixes, and I loved it, and I'll give you feedback based on that. But obviously, the ultimate product was just a killer product. Like every person that I give this to, let them try. Like if they come over to my house, they tell me chai.
Yeah.
And they go, at the end of it, they go, oh, where'd you get this chai? I'm like, hey, Johnny's chai. Right. And, obviously hook them up with you and they order. And, obviously you've got a couple of long-term customers now from that. But even at work, so every morning before I go to work, I make myself a chai thing. And I go and I usually share half of that with someone and I drink the other half. And it's not necessarily about promoting your brand or anything. It's about sharing that, right?
Exactly.
Sharing that goodness, I suppose, because it makes you feel good inside.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
And I guess one of my missions is someone said, what are you selling? And I tell them I'm selling smiles. And it sounds a bit cheesy, but it's true. Every time you have a cup of chai, the feeling it feels like a warm hug. It's amazing.
It is.
And coming to what you said about the phase, I'm a firm believer of starting with an end in mind. Mm-hmm. And for me, that end was having a cup of deliciousness, which made you feel good inside. It wasn't about chai. It wasn't about, you can replace the chai with anything. If I was selling coffee, it would be that. So I gave myself 3 months from concept phase to selling my first kilo.
Yeah.
But those were some long 3 months where there was design happening while I was trying multiple blends. So the blend you're tasting is version 23.
Are you serious?
So it was blend 23, sorry, and each blend had 4 different versions.
Oh my God.
But I went all the way up to 30 and then realized that 23 was the winner because it's not what I like, it's what the masses like. So this went through some vigorous A/B testing with different demographics, with age types, because again, I can't say this is made for everyone and it's something I love.
Yeah.
So this is what the masses liked. They liked it because it wasn't too sweet, it was well balanced, it wasn't too spicy. It was like that perfect
mix.
blend.
Yeah.
It went great with all kinds of milks, with coconut, with hemp, with soy, with oat, with full cream. It goes everything.
And that's the thing, right? Like it's hard to find that mix with, because I drink soy milk.
Yeah.
And it goes beautifully.
Yeah.
Without giving your recipe away, what is the unique ingredient that you put that no one else sort of utilizes?
So again, I can give the recipe away, no problem. The magic.
No, don't have to give the recipe.
The magic ingredient, because I believe in abundance. I believe there's enough for everyone to have. The magic ingredient in this bad boy is dates. So this is a 140-gram pouch. More than half of it is actually dates. So you're getting your fiber, you're getting your goodness. it's all happening in there.
Yeah, natural ingredients.
It's all natural. So there are 6 ingredients. I'll read out to you. Assembled tea, dates, cloves, ginger, brown sugar, and cardamom.
Nice.
So it's clean. There's no fillers. There's no additives, and most importantly, it's yummy. You can use it in baking. We're doing a charity event. Hope they were looking. One of the chefs was looking at doing a ice cream with Amasalachai.
Ah.
You can do. There's so many things, and I guess when I started, I was, how can this product be used across multiple parallels? And yeah, that's what I went at. And I thought this product would be the end all and be all. But I've had to pivot because I realized not many people have the time to actually brew it. They wanted something faster. The cafes wanted something much more faster, something a bit more.
So you pivoted again, right?
Like I said,
Yeah.
be stubborn on the vision, be flexible on the blueprint. And then we moved into our instant range. And then we got instant chai, we've got the turmerics, we've got the matcha. I branched out a new brand. We've got a chocolate brand. So this is our choc, which has cacao from Peru. There's only 2 ingredients in this. There's organic cacao from Peru and brown sugar. That's it.
Nice.
So it's that perfect balance, but you're not having cocoa, you're not having any of the fillers. So yeah, it comes down to that. If I want to, will I give my kids this? And the answer is yes. So if I can give it to them, I can give it to anyone.
So this is awesome, man. Like, I love your chai, but you branched into a whole bunch of other businesses.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak about that and how do you even find the bandwidth to do it? Because I know a lot of people who work hard but don't get much results. You get both, along with, crypto, family life, doing all of that stuff, doing service, soccer coach.
Yeah, so there's a few things I do. People always ask me, what do you do? I say I'm a full-time dad.
Yeah.
And most of the people think I'm a bum. Most of the people at my kids' school do not know I'm an entrepreneur. They do not know because I rock up with my shorts, pick up my kids all the time, drop them, have time to have a bit of a muck around with a chat to everyone. But while I do that, as soon as I take that hat off, I've got this entrepreneur hat that I put on where we've got Soulmix as one of the encompassing brands. Under that, we've got Chai, Chalk, Antler, which we do coffee and syrups as well now. Then the Soulmix brands. I'm launching a new brand which has to do with entertainment and just, it's coming soon. Soulmix brands has some funky things coming up soon. I'm also a director at Boundless. We do consultancy with that for Australian businesses with work from the Philippines. We craft unique boutique solutions for them which our mantra at Boundless is boundless savings, boundless time, boundless solutions. I crafted and worked on the framework for that business. We went live from concept to, I guess, making money in 3 months on that. I've got a few other bits and pieces.
So just going back to that one, what essentially is Boundless? What service are you providing to the end business owner?
So the gap in the market, I do this with 2 other partners, and the gap we saw in the Australian market is the workforce, the entrepreneur, the budding entrepreneur or companies struggle with getting quality work.
Okay.
So, and right now the cost of wages are sitting at between 40 and 50% of the total operating costs. So at Boundless, we're providing the same work, if not better quality, from the Philippines. But right now, that cost is cut down by more than 50%.
Nice.
So say an Australian company is getting the same work, if not better, for half the price. But now that person in the Philippines doesn't do just one thing. They do multiple things. Like the person who looks after us 3 directors, manages our calendar, holds our board meetings, does our recruitment, does our social media. This is unheard of. Because usually in Australia, you get one person doing one
It's
thing.
one specialized task, right? Yeah.
But we get champions. What we do is they're called Boundless Consultants or Boundless Champions, where they're doing multiple things at that given time. So it's a perfect blend of solutions, creativity, and scalability for the company.
And your team sort of goes in and coaches these people before they even,
Yeah.
are implanted within a business, right?
Correct. So just I have that framework of rigorous testing in my other businesses.
Yeah.
In this one, the onboarding process is we go through, because we understand the Australian mindset. We understand what they want to do as a business. So we do know what kind of, I guess, foot soldiers they want to get the job done. So, and between myself and my two partners, we're looking about a combined 60 years of experience in different fields. So when we're speaking to a construction company and they're looking at rolling out someone to do their bookkeeping, I have a finance background, like in terms of working for ANZ,
Yeah.
both of us. I have my business partner who works for Silver Chef, and he has a background. So we know what they're looking for. So when we're onboarding, we specifically, there's what people say and what people actually do. People say good stuff on their resume, but we put them through a whole different kind of process
Yes,
where we're actually seeing that, is your mouth is your money where your mouth is,
Yeah.
And yeah, we onboard them, and while onboarding them, there's two sections. We're onboarding this person from the Philippines into Australian culture, but we're also onboarding the Australian person in the Filipino culture on how they work, and how they like to do stuff, how they don't like confrontation. But the Australian culture likes confrontation.
Yeah, right.
So it's
That's a
about
good
how
point.
can we have that holistic but ethos working together. And we are there as from here to provide support for the Filipino consultant who's pretty much a Boundless consultant, but they're embedded in the organization. At the same time, we're here to provide strategy and support for the Australian business.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great model, and the way you were talking through it yesterday, I was just like, wow, like no one does this. Like if I was to find someone, I would be going onto random websites, trying to interview, and that's how like it's a hit and miss, right? It's hit and miss, and often you're trying to run your own business. There's no time for coaching other people to do their stuff. So when you've got processes like the SOPs and the coaching and trials and so forth, it you end up performing, putting together a champion.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, can you tell them about the 13-month concept of, because, most people haven't heard of that.
Yeah, so in Philippines, they've got something called a 13-month where they don't get like super and whatnot. So we work on a 52-week in Australia. We work Philippines, there's a 56-week. So we look after that to make sure that it's almost like a Christmas present for them. At Christmas, they get one, so where they go, because family is huge in the Philippines. They put a very high emphasis on family. So right now, the problem, there's two things. What I've told you about the problem we're trying to solve with Australian business. There's the other side. What problem are we trying to solve with the Filipinos? What's in it for them? Yes, the money is great. However, right now, a current Filipino will have to travel 1 or 2 hours in traffic to get to work.
Right.
They would have to leave their little one with a nanny because most of them have young families. They're leaving their parents in the day. What we're offering them is you can work from home. You're saving 4 hours a day in traffic. You can look after your little one while you're there, or you can pay a nanny now while she's looking after it, but you have your eye on them. You know exactly what's going on.
Oh, so you're comfortable with that? Yeah.
Yes, so
Yeah.
they work from home.
Yeah.
However, while saying that, they also have a level of professionalism that they need to maintain. They get up in the morning, they get dressed, they're ready, they're presenting, they're there for the client. When when the client calls, they pick up. So it's pretty much like having someone on Teams all the time.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's that side of what we're trying to solve.
So just to sum up, like if I was to hire someone on my own, the expectation is January to December, we pay, if I was to do this by myself.
Yeah.
But it's like an unwritten rule that you end up paying a 13th month as well, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and which Boundless takes care of.
Yeah, so we kind of tell you about all of that in the onboarding process.
I know this.
But the thing is, we also do stuff in the background that you don't have to pay for as our customer. We pay bonuses. It's like, okay, how could we keep the consultant motivated? We have bonuses. We have certain targets. You hit a certain month. If the client likes you and they give you good feedback, we give you another bonus. So there's always incentive. It's incentive based because no one wants to know how much you know. They want to know how much you care. So we care a lot about our consultants there because we know that's our greatest asset because the more happy they are, they service you better and you get happy and this is beautiful ecosystem. So the 13th month is something which keeps them happy. But on top of that, we also have bonuses. We recently ran a social media dash where we said anyone that you get to follow and like, we give you a few dollars. So if you have 500 you get $500.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Pivoting back onto the kids, right? Because you're in a. I don't know how much you know this about yourself, and I'm sure you do because we talk all the time, right? But when I spend time with your family, in inspires me to lift my game even more. And sadly, I wish I could say this with other people. It's not the case, man, right? It's not the case. Like the way that the boys behave, that the respect that they have. Like I've been here for 24 hours and the TV hasn't been on. They haven't watched anything. They haven't had, no tablets. It's just phenomenal, man. Like no gaming consoles. They sit down and eat. I was with Chris for, I got up in the morning. He came and showed me his Transformers. He disappeared for less than 10 minutes. He had a shower by himself, gotten dressed by himself, and he was out, flicking around his hair, looking cool. I'm like, so talk me through that, Johnny. Like, obviously, this doesn't happen overnight.
No.
This is a lot of work. This is a lot of love and discipline and, kindness and that you're working with. Just help the parents out who are out there who are struggling, because I've seen them and there's a lot of yelling going on and it's just it's not good.
Well, you said that magic word, love.
Yeah.
It always, that's like the core. That's the main, I guess, the platform you need to launch from. If you squeeze an orange, you'll always get orange juice. If you squeeze, a lemon, you're going to get lemon juice. It's not that no matter what you do to a lemon, you will never get orange juice. That's the thing with love. I think even I have some days where I'm not feeling the best and it comes out. So it's like, I think it's less about the kids and more about the parents. If you're in a good state of mind, if you have that energy you can give your kids. I think most of the time, a lot of parents, firstly, let me just say, is there's no right way of parenting.
Yeah.
Everyone's on a unique journey and there's no right or wrong way. My way is not right. I do not have that ego to say that. But I would say what I've learned is why these kids are a little bit more different is I invest a lot into them.
A lot of time.
A lot of time in them. It's not money. Kids do not want money. They want your love.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is actively listening. Like, we have some heavy arguments. But I always let them know that I'm angry with the issue, not the person. I love the person. And I think growing up as kids, they would always address the person. There's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And they would rip us apart.
It's rip us apart, beltings, it's just normal, right? And like, you and I don't have any sort of grievances towards love our parents, happy that happened.
I don't know about happy, but it happened.
It happened, right? But like, I'm happy about the person I am today, and likewise, right? But just, sorry, I interrupted you. Go on.
So yeah, I tell them this is the kind of upbringing I was, pressured under. It didn't make me necessarily. It took obviously it has its effects.
Yeah.
We navigate through it, but with my kids, I tell them it's a bit more different. I always tell them that what you're doing, we need to be a support network for each other. There's certain things you will love about me. There's certain things you won't understand about me.
Yeah.
There's certain things you'll hate, and that's okay. It's up for discussion. But it's okay to be curious. But we say this: all emotions are welcome, not all behaviors.
Ah, I like that.
Yeah, if you're frustrated, if something that's annoying you, let it out. It's okay. But that doesn't give you an opportunity to yell at your brother or be rude to him or use me as a punching bag or vice. So even when I have a bad day, I tell them I'm having a bad day. I'm having a moment in a bad day. It's been a rough, because there's no such thing as a bad day, just a bad perspective also, I tell them. But there are times certain things get to you. I make it known. So the family knows that I'm going through something. Give me some time. All I want is some love, space, and don't take me off.
Best friend. Yeah.
So I can reset. We have a reset thing a lot. So coming back to how, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of patience, a lot of effort. That's it.
And I think the difference is, you're a parent. They know you are their parent. Also a friend, but they know that you're the parent first.
Yeah.
I think people confuse that, man, with these new modern parenting methods where there's I'm here to love you all the time, blah blah blah, and there's no discipline at all. And the kids running amok, and meanwhile I'm standing back observing, because they're not my kids. I'm not going to discipline them. And it's very hard for me as also a parent to just go, hey, you got to get your kid in line. This is not acceptable. But
Kids will always push boundaries.
yeah,
Your kids try it, my kids try it. I always let my kids know I am there to protect, provide. Your mother's there to care, love, nurture. These are our roles. We have specific roles. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to be your father. I'm here to get you ready for the world outside, which is cruel. You won't like me now, but you will love me when I'm gone. So I always tell them, and it brings a tear to the eye because they're focusing on me being gone. I said, don't focus on that. Focus on that. Because I said, if you can live, I said, when there's regret, you're living in the past. When there's fear, you're living in the future. When you're at peace, you're living in the present.
Nice.
So I always tell them, be present right now. What do we have each other? We're having this moment. Live in this moment. Don't worry about me being going. Don't worry about you being what you did. It's gone. It's finished. What can we do now? So we have these really, I guess, big boy conversations. And I've been having this conversation since they were 3, 4 years old. You know that.
And I can see, like, it just shows that the time that you put in really does show now that they're 7 and 9. And especially living in that moment, when we're playing soccer and stuff, they're really enjoying it. They're in the moment. They're just loving their life. It's beautiful, man. Like what you've done there.
And it's tough because sometimes I have a full 10-hour day and the boys want to play soccer. It's so easy to say no and give them an iPad.
It is, isn't it?
It is. But I've realized it's funny. The dopamine I get from playing with them, it's like a reset. It helps me go for another 4, 6 hours. I'm fit because I'm working out, I'm running. But at the end of the day, they will never remember what they got for presents on Christmas in 2024. But they will always remember my dad was there for me to play soccer with me. Or he was there in the morning to wake me up and give me a hug. So if you look at your life as a whole, all we have is memories. I tell my kids, I'm trying to create beautiful memories with you. And even with my friends, with every person, that interaction is about a memory.
Yeah.
Food is a memory. You feel good when you have. That's why I love food so much. It's lasting memories.
And seriously, man, like I keep saying this again, I'm so glad I made the journey because it helps me lift my game. I consider myself a pretty good parent.
You
but
are.
but thank you.
You are.
But like it takes a really good parent to know, wow, I gotta really lift my game, be there for my kids even more, right? And
I have my flaws. There are nights where I'm sitting up crying, asking myself, am I doing the wrong? Because sometimes you need to be hard on your kids. It's called tough love. When they're pushing the boundaries as to why can't I have a gaming console? How come my friends get to watch all these movies? And I tell them, that's okay. Their house, their rules. We're trying to achieve something very different.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to achieve something very different. Without putting anyone up or down, there is no right or wrong way. These are the rules in this family. I hope you can respect and abide by that. And my kids are seeing that as they're growing up, they're seeing doing certain things has almost given them an unfair advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're seeing that and they're like, wow. I said, imagine if you do, I said, get good at doing small things really well. Because if you don't do small things really well, you can't do, big things really well. And I always say the greatest form of self-love is discipline. Small things like making your bed in the morning, giving your mom a hug, giving your dad a hug, respecting your elders. If you can be good at doing small things, you will excel in, those big things. But they never understood what this self-love and discipline is. My oldest understands that. I always said them, work in private and struggle in private so you can celebrate in public.
Nice.
Because,
That's great advice, by the
Yeah.
way. Great advice.
and they see it because they say, I say everybody's going to celebrate when you keep that beautiful goal, when it curves in and it bends and but no one's seeing the hard hours you've been practicing 300 kicks every session. Your leg's going to be hurt. So highest form of self-love is discipline.
Absolutely. Talk me through the entrepreneurial journey, man, because not many people understand the late nights, the driving hours and hours to deliver product, prototyping, R&D, rejection, big one.
Rejection is good.
Rejection. Talk through some of the struggles and how you overcoming them.
Rejection is one of those things. It's part and parcel. It's like breathing when you live in. It's a part of it. If you're an entrepreneur, you need to get used to rejection. But it stems from passion. If you're passionate about something, nothing else around it matters. Think about your kids for a moment. You're passionate about them. You love them. You care about them. Doesn't matter if they're sick. Doesn't matter if you're sick. You're hungry. you will work to make things happen, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing with an entrepreneur. I tell, and I mentor a few entrepreneurs. I tell them, if you're not passionate about something, don't do it. You might as well go get a job.
That's true.
So, rejection, I guess, they're all byproducts of entrepreneurship. If it's stemmed in passion, if there's passion, like for example, this new brand I'm trying to launch, I've been trying to get it off the ground for the past 3 months. Everyone's telling me I can't do it. I'm like, hold my chai. They said the same thing about my chai. Like I remember a very good friend of mine said, I can't believe you're selling chai. No one's going to do it. Not only am I doing it, it's not like I'm going to show it to you. It has nothing to do with that because I think the greatest revenge is success. But when you dedicate yourself to service, you forget about revenge. You just like, you're in the zone, you're serving. So this new brand, there's so many hiccups, but I'm not looking at why it's not working. I'm looking at how can it work.
Yeah.
So there's two things, right? You can find a market and service a product, or you can create a market and, find people, give them a reason to buy it.
Well, this new brand is just super cool,
Yes,
right?
it
Like I've
is.
never seen it ever. Like, and I've been, my background, DJing in clubs,
Yeah.
been to countless private functions, and I've never seen this. So it'll be good. So watch out for that.
Yeah. I've got a few things in the work. If I was up to me, I would have a new brand going every few months. But I also realized the importance in the sun's rays burns when there's focus. So I got to remind myself to come back in focus, get this up and going, because the toughest thing is entrepreneurship is execution. Everyone has an idea, but not everyone executes it. But also in a certain time frame. I was telling my son about this the other day. He goes, Dad, can I start a business? I said two main things. You need to have an idea that makes you money, otherwise it's a hobby, and you need to have a time frame to execute it in. Otherwise, I said, imagine soccer without any goals.
Yeah.
So that's entrepreneurship for you. If you don't have any goals, and we've learned these things, right? Goals need to be specific, they need to be measurable, and all that stuff. That's all great, but when on paper everything looks amazing, but a lot of people are not willing to go out there and get that rejection.
That's it.
Get out there and get that no. When someone tastes it and goes, "Wow, this is shit," rather than getting back, saying, "Okay, why do you say that? Could you?"
Have people said that to you?
Of course they did, and that's okay because again, I'd be
So this is cafe owners saying it to your face and going,
shit.
wow.
So the ego in me could have said, "Oh, you know what? Stop you. That's okay." But because I care, I went back and said, "Thank you for that. Can you explain why?" And so it's about breaking down that barrier and opening a dialogue. So and then I realized they were not making it right. I said, "Can I make it for you? And maybe you can give it another shot." And they go, "Wow, this is amazing."
Okay.
But imagine I shut off completely.
Shut off and
so for me, and even not everyone's going to like my product. Let's be honest. It'll be foolish of me to think that.
But I personally haven't met anyone yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if
again-
they're being polite to me.
Yeah. It could be a few things. It could be their ego as well. Because sometimes when people meet someone like me, I can be quite animated. I can be quite forward. For me, I don't like kissing ass. You know that, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty straightforward. If someone's not doing something, I'll say. And for some people, that's hard to take. It's a hard pill to swallow. Not everyone is like you that takes feedback on constructively or is open to dialogue. A lot of people get taken back by that.
Yeah, I'm actually blown away when you said people have said that to your face. Like, obviously, credit to them
Yeah.
for having the guts to say that because they could have easily just gone, "Oh, it's a crap product. I'm not ordering again." But at least you were able to sort of build on that and work on that, right? Oh, nice.
But for me, it's an opportunity to get better or understand. Maybe there's another product for this person.
Yeah, true. And you've launched half a dozen products at least from that.
There are no victories. There's no lessons in victory, right?
Yeah.
You only learn from your failures, and these products are created as a byproduct of my failures.
Tell me about the matcha chai. Is it matcha? Matcha? How do you pronounce it?
Matcha. So,
Matcha chai.
So
Sorry, it's not matcha chai. It's just matcha.
it's matcha.
Matcha.
So cha. That word cha is the root word for tea in a lot of languages. In Japanese, it's ocha. In India, it's chai. In Turkish, also, I think it's chai. So without going into the whole philosophy of tea, matcha is green tea, but it's the younger part of the tea. They put it under shade, they stress it out, they steam it, they grind it, and you're actually having the whole tea leaf.
Okay.
Very high in polyphenols and very good for you. Has a very good amount of caffeine, a very good alternative to coffee if you have the spikes.
Okay.
I'm not used to that.
So you said that this is blowing up at the moment, right?
It's funny. It's been, I think we launched in 2003 in March.
2023.
2023,
Yeah.
2023 in March. It's now crazy. We're in over 80 plus venues. The volumes have like more than doubled, quadrupled in some venues. I was doing some stats. We put out 20,000 cups last month
Nice.
of
Nice. Yeah. And it's, because I know you were taking me through a little tour yesterday, and you started, in a simple kitchen, using buckets. Now you're selling hundreds of kilos of chai,
of matcha and
of
all that stuff.
matcha and all of that stuff. Commercial kitchen as well, right? So this is like taking to the next level.
Yes, so soon, hopefully, the next step. I was speaking to my mentor. I've been fortunate to been guided by a mentor recently because I was in the search of a mentor for the past 15 years. He's an amazing gentleman, and he's been holding me accountable on scaling on the next steps. We had an interesting conversation. I was very fortunate to have a whole day with him the other day, and he gave me a few things to do on how to acquire new businesses, and I didn't act on it at all. So he said, I sent you a bunch of stuff and you didn't do anything. And he goes, why? I sat there, and it's funny because usually I never say these two words, but I told him, like, I'm scared. And he said, that's okay. I get scared too, get overwhelmed, but let's do a whiteboarding session and we'll move from there. Because the next step in anything is scary. I remember when I first wanted to start a business, I had no idea to set up what a zero was, how to approach a customer. I didn't even have a method on how to brew my chai. It was in my head, but I thought that was enough. I would talk people through it. So yes, the next step, I'm scared, but I also know that it's exciting because everything you want is on the other side of fear.
Yeah, absolutely.
True. And I can tell anyone listening to that is, if something scares you, do it.
You said you're mentoring a couple of people, right,
Yeah.
on their journeys.
Yeah.
What's the reception been like?
So there are two kinds of people. The people that will actually do it, like everything, they will go blind faith and just do it. And the people that will always question and slowly peel off.
Peel off as in do what you ask them to do, or just
they
or
won't
just
do it. They will go back to being their normal 9 to 5 complain. I'll give you a perfect example. One of the girls I'm mentoring, she's 21 years old right now. Just December last year, she was a barista. I ran into her, I saw her work, I said, you're really good at the social media stuff. And she goes, wow, yeah, I know, thank you. I wish I could do this full time, but my mom wouldn't approve it. And it's funny because it almost like had a little spark in me, and it felt like, wow, this is something I felt like. Because as kids, we always want to do things, but our biggest killers, dream killers, are our parents.
Yep.
And I guess that's why I make it I make sure that when my kids tell me anything, I don't laugh at it. I say, that's amazing. You can do anything you put your mind to. Because I am open to being wrong. I've been proved wrong so many times by my kids. So coming back to this person, I said, would you like to sit down? I would like to go through a strategy session with you. This person took me up on that. A year later, she works for me. Well, she works with me. She's got her own company. I refer her to multiple clients. She makes 2 or 3 times more than what she used to make as a barista.
Ooh.
But now she's 21. She's an entrepreneur. And she's doing great.
And she's living her own.
She's living life on her own terms.
Yeah.
She's starting uni at the same time. But the thing is, she was scared, but she did it.
She did it.
So for anyone listening out there, it's about how can you push through fear. It's not easy, but fear is real, but it's also an illusion. Because you give power to everything that you feel and you see as real.
Yeah.
Think of any amazing and pressure. I put her under a lot of pressure. I gave her some unreasonable, undoable targets. She did it.
Impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. So
Very impressive.
So in the New Year's, when I sat down with her, she actually did everything. I said, okay, let's put you under some bit of more pressure. Because that's how you grow. 2 things happen when you're putting under pressure. Diamonds are formed or you break.
Yeah.
Most of the people crumble and break. The people who decide to follow through, they sparkle.
Yeah, absolutely. So flipping it the other way, how did you find yourself a mentor? It's probably a tricky one because it's
How
not.
did I find myself a mentor? How did I bump into my mentor?
Okay, bump into the mentor then.
So the messaging you put down internally is very important. So I was looking for guidance. I was always telling the universe, I'm ready for that next step.
Yeah.
What you want and how you get it are two different things.
So when you say, I was telling the universe, elaborate on that a little bit more.
So I'm a huge believer in energy, and energy is like transcendent, right? It's everywhere and nowhere. Like where were we before we were born? We were energy, right? People can call it God, people can call it different names, but I call it energy, the universe. So I was talking to God or the universe, and I said, I'm ready for that next step.
Yeah.
And I kept visualizing it because I always saw myself sharing, but I needed to be lifted up.
Yeah.
And I never found anyone who I looked up to in that sense. Of course, there have been great teachers like Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, and these have been like the digital teachers. But I wanted someone I could see, feel, but also shared my philosophy about service. So,
Sorry, John. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Sorry. Can you? Elaborate on how you do this visualization. How do you sort of reach out to the world? How do you put your energy out, going, "Hey, this is what I want. I want this to come back to me. I want this to resonate with the world." Could you elaborate on how you go through it? Is it before you go to sleep? Is it while you're driving? What's the process here?
it's a continuous process. When I wake up in the morning, I first wake up with a thank you prayer.
Yeah.
I thank the people around me. I thank for having just air in my lungs, being able. I'm in that attitude of gratitude. Second thing is when I wake up is being present. Is just having that cup of chai and just being there, listening to my kids, telling Christopher is very animated as well. He loves his stories, so I know he's up. I know it's morning because I don't hear alarm. I hear Christopher. He's like talking. At the same time, it's about listening to my other son, Kai, and understanding what he has to say.
He's empathetic.
Is empathetic. It's understanding for my wife as to what she wants from the day.
Yeah.
Being present, and at the same time having all their wants and needs is just being not looking at, oh my god, I need to do this stuff. It's just how lucky am I?
Yeah, and
So I
she
feel-
maintains the house like a champion, right?
does.
She's just so credit to her.
She's a great mom, and I couldn't be doing a lot of this without her support.
Yeah, absolutely.
But being in that attitude of gratitude and just soaking it all up in, I think is so crucial because it's how can you be in that gratitude for 5 seconds will teleport you into the next minute, which will teleport you to the next hour, which will turn into a day, which will turn into a month, and it becomes second nature. How I do it is it's a constant process. It's reminding myself that even in the chaos, there's some good. Like sometimes, like when it's raining, I hate the rain. I absolutely hate the rain. So I'm trying to create new memories with my kids. Is let's play in the rain, or let's do something silly, and the kids look at me like, "Wow, can we?"
Yeah.
And that's my recreation of past traumas or
Yeah.
moving through that. So how do I do that process? It's sometimes like right now I put this book on the table. I was like, wow, I remember I went there. That was a beautiful day. I'm sitting down here saying, I don't have many friends. They say I guess the bigger you get in life, or the more your mindset kind of improves, your friend circle kind of shrinks.
So true.
So you're the person I relate to every day. I'm so happy that you've taken out time from your family. You've driven 2 hours to come and see me.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Like as I said, I'm sort of regretting going back home because I'm gonna go. Is this a highlight of my trip? Because they're gonna. Oh no! But it is like it's been awesome, and yeah. Okay, cool.
So being thankful. So how I met my mentor was I was going with a friend to help her out because she was going for a leadership course and she wanted me to see if it was any good.
Okay.
And she looks again. I mentor her in a lot of ways, and she looks to me for guidance. So I went with her. It was at the Gold Coast. We were at the seminar, and I saw the gentleman in the corner eating sushi or eating something. And he was, I walked up to him, introduced myself, and he turned out to be the most interesting person in the room. And I wanted more. All I knew when I walked away from that 15-minute conversation, I was blown away. I reached out to this person again, and I said, could I take you for coffee? And then we had a few sessions, and every session I came and started telling everyone. I think I told you to, bro. I met this guy. He's
Yeah.
unbelievable. He blows my mind. I don't know what to. And there's not many people that do that.
And that's the thing. It's very hard to find who are 10 years ahead of you, 20 years ahead of you, that has that clear vision and clarity that can sort of guide you, right?
Yeah, he did that. So one day I had to tell him that I've been looking for a mentor. Would you do me the honor of mentoring me? And he said, okay, let's keep it very casual. Because obviously he wants to see whether I execute and do stuff. So he gave me a certain list of undoable tasks as well. And I went ahead and did it. And I came back to him and showed him. And so, yeah, it started. And now we had dinner with the family the other day. He met the family the other day. He actually saw who I am. And he realized for me, happiness isn't money. True wealth for me is just having friends and family, being loved, cared for, and giving back. Because he's really big on giving back as well.
Was that hard for you to sort of ask that question?
It was hard because, again, I'm scared of rejection.
Yeah.
I didn't know whether, firstly, he'd want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but again, I'm a big fan of don't be scared of the outcome. Be scared of not having the conversation. So I did have the conversation, and here I am.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's all. And you're right. People are sort of too scared to ask that question from someone they look up to.
Correct.
Where if you have a willing student, the teacher will be there, right? To impart that wisdom.
When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I guess I'm ready now.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with everything, with love, with businesses, with interactions with different people. I guess when it's your time, it's your time.
That's your time.
And when it's not, it's not.
The next topic I'm sort of hesitant on speaking about because it changes so quickly that I want to try and give some advice to the point that it becomes almost timeless advice, right? And the topic is crypto.
Crypto, yeah.
Yeah, because I think if we go into the specifics, it's going to be outdated by next month. Who knows?
Correct.
So how can sort of maybe we can talk about asset classes then? I don't know.
I think we talk
wanna
about
speak-
cycles.
Okay, let's do that.
Because
Cycles are timeless.
cycles are timeless. Today it's crypto. Before it could be something like a real estate bubble.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm in crypto. Made some money, made a lot of mistakes. It's cycle. So as long as whatever goes up must come down, and energy and wealth is always transferred from the from the impatient to the patient. That's how wealth always goes. Crypto, like anything, if you look at it, I think it's a baby stock market. I think the stock market, if you look at it like 50, 60, 80, 90, 100 years ago, it was crypto. It was volatile, prices moving, people didn't know what was happening. The stock market is a bit more mature. Crypto is fairly new. The problem I see is people think it's quick money, and that's where they get burned. For me, it's the next wave. It's here to stay as long as the governments, because without going into too much detail about finances, our dollar isn't backed by anything. The US dollar. And I think the Federal Reserve, or when all these things about crypto, is trying to create something where it's backed by, it's funny because it's a bit of an oxymoron. The crypto is backed by US dollar, who's not backed by anything.
Yeah.
So again, is it a huge bubble? Who knows? But right now, it's like, for me, my goal, anyone listening to this, is how can you use this vehicle to get into hard assets? Like, how can you make money with the crypto or the stock market or whatever and get into real estate or get into, other sectors or other businesses that is getting you constant yield?
So do you see the crypto as more of a vehicle to get into other hard assets, like you said, rather than a wealth creation vehicle?
Well, there's wealth creation crypto, and you can sit in crypto.
Yeah.
But again, you can't see, touch, and feel it, and that's okay because neither can you with your digital money these days.
Yeah.
It depends what kind of risk appetite you have. But one thing I've learned from great people like investors like Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, Tony Robbins, Warren Buffett, is never put all your eggs in one basket. Because in cycles, what happens is different asset classes give you different returns.
Yeah.
So yes, I have some crypto, but I also want to make sure I have a real estate. I have my other businesses going on. Because what happens if there's another COVID? This all is going to go. But people are going to be sitting down in the cafes. They're not going to be but they're going to buy it from home. So there's a different strategy we need to implement. The same thing with crypto is People are going to be having all this money. They're going to be, where do we throw it now? Probably going to throw it in crypto. So you see, being prepped for that. So understanding cycles will tell you, oh, we are the lowest we've ever been. We can't go any lower. Great time to buy. Interest rates are at an all-time high. People are panicking, thinking they're going to go all-time higher. Maybe it's a good time to just get out of the market and just wait, buy in lower.
Yeah, yeah, true. Do you see crypto as being a some sort of utility where you can actually purchase stuff on a day-to-day basis? I know it happens now,
Yeah.
but I feel like the transaction costs are high. It's slow. There's a whole lot of there's the acceptance is still it hasn't reached that turning point yet.
Yeah.
Do you see that happening in the future?
It's gonna happen. Like, think about dial-up. When we imagine as kids what we had to do to get onto the internet. The dial-up, we had someone. If someone was on the phone, we couldn't get on the internet. We had to wait for the dial-up, the funky sound of your modem.
Yeah.
Then the page used to load and stop buffering. Think of the internet now. So I see crypto again being that thing where people are having seamless exchange. There, because I remember there was a time somebody wanted certain amount of crypto. I got in and just transferred. If it was a bank, they would be like, this is my money in the bank.
Yeah.
And they're questioning me. So I think it's going to, and more people, I think as the oldies move on from getting cash, it's going to be fairly digital. Do I want cash to go away? No. I'm a huge fan and believer in cash. I think it's how is your crypto backed? That is my big one. Once there's a huge backing of crypto with a real world asset, for example, gold or whatever, I think it's gonna take off.
Yeah, and that's the thing. What happened with the US dollar, as you know, right?
Yeah.
It was one stage backed by something, and then it wasn't. It got decoupled, and as such, the USD is pegged to a whole bunch of other fiat currencies. So we all become. It's worth it. What is it backed by? Confidence.
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 It's like value. Value is perceived. Right now,
Yes.
people say that Bitcoin is worth $100,000. So at today's date, with crypto is sitting at Bitcoin is sitting at 100K.
Yeah,
People bought like pizzas with that back in the day.
they did. They did.
Now, so if you ask those days, would Bitcoin be 100K, they would laugh at you, right? Just like if we told a farmer 500 years ago that we would be talking on our phones, videos, and we were flying across the world, and they would laugh at us.
Yeah, yeah. 100%.
Just think about, we didn't have Google going on. Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
So, can it happen? Yes. Will it happen? It's just a matter of time.
Well, Google's have got a bit of a that's going through its own evolution now, where search results are reducing, where AI results are going up. Search results, so people are willing to, use some of these AI search engines to get a result straight away, get an answer straight away,
Rather than looking.
rather than going through 1, 2, 3, 4 websites to get the answer. It's like bang, it's in there. So Google has to really, transform again to be dominant.
So even this business, I know it's not going to be there in five years. But it's like, how can we that's why for me, it's evolution over revolution.
Yeah.
So how can you not react and be proactive? And you can only do that if you genuinely care
Yeah, absolutely.
about the market, about the recipients of the market, about what you are putting out. Like, I'm already working on my next few iterations of this product.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, talk about Gary Vee talks about the hustle and the grinding away, and I know you don't do it just for the sake of it. There's a purpose to it. But tell me about that, Johnny, because not many people put in the hours. I see people going home playing video games, and grown men. I just can't fathom this. Grown men playing video games from 8 p.m. till 2 a.m. Sometimes later. Maybe we're being too judgmental, but I just don't get it. And some people are watching Netflix or other streaming services. They'll ask me about sports. I don't know what's going on. And I know I can relate to you with these type of questions. Over to you.
So it stems again from purpose, because I felt like I was at a stage where I lacked purpose.
Yeah.
So I was working. I lacked purpose, so I was playing video games. But if you have purpose, and if that purpose is not stemmed in self, I repeat myself, if that purpose is not stemmed in self, you can do amazing things. Like, Look at, like, without getting into politics, certain politicians right now are in power. They've fought all odds. Why? Because their primary thing was not about them, it was the people. True?
True.
As parents, look at our parents. They went through hell to bring us up. How they did it, like if you look at it now, I ask how did my mom bring 3 kids up
Yeah.
in a country with no Google Maps, with no like internet, with no Uber?
Yeah.
Why? Because their purpose was not like stemmed in themselves. It was always a higher purpose. It was a different cause. It was selfless.
Yeah.
So find purpose, I would say. The people that are doing that, they lack purpose. So they look for fake dopamine. They look to video games. They look to alcohol. They look to drugs. They look to XYZ. For me, my dopamine, it's selfish, but it's to serve because I get my dopamine from that.
From that.
And you're like that too. You love serving. So if you can be in that attitude of gratitude and selfless service, it stems into different every religious text, right? From Buddhism to the Bible to Islam. If you look at the core message, it's about service. I think that's a problem. I think I see with religion, they're always wondering and fighting over who is right versus what is right.
Yeah. That's profound.
The message is lost. They're always wondering about like who's the right messenger, but they forget about the message.
Message.
And if you look at the underlying philosophy of every religion, it's service, being good, doing good.
Yeah. Simple, right? People overcomplicate it. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, I'm sure you've heard of the book A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, who
I would love to listen to that.
Yeah,
Any book you recommend is amazing.
yeah, it's about a guy who was put in concentration camps in the Second World War, right? And he's fighting through it. He's gone through torture, and he sort of steps back and observes at what's happening, and he realizes the people who pass away in these concentration camps, there's one thing that they're lacking as opposed to the people who just continue on. They've got something to look forward to. They've got a purpose. They've got I need to survive because of X. His reason was because he wanted to put something together, a manifesto kind of thing. And he did that ultimately. But even on those harsh realities of life, right? Living, and he found a purpose. It's not the food, it's not anything, it's that purpose, like that you talk about.
Purpose fueled with passion is very different to purpose fueled with excitement.
Yeah.
Purpose fueled with excitement always dies. Purpose fueled with passion it's a self-fulfilling loop. It just keeps happening and happening and happening. Yeah, I always tell my kids, find purpose in anything. Like, why? Ask yourself why you're doing that. And ingrain yourself in. I said, anytime you're having a down day, and I use this, there takes times business is not going right. I'm having a bad day with problems. There's so many. When I have those days, it's those days you just don't feel good. You feel like it's such a shit day.
Yeah.
My go-to is dedicate myself to service of others. Call you, check how you're doing. See my kids, can I take you guys do ice cream? What would you like to do? Because it makes you feel better, and it's selfish, but
It's selfish in a
it's
way.
also selfless in a way.
100% get it. And like you do this really well, and I do it as well.
Yeah, you do it. You
which
do it
is
really well.
just check up on random people going, hey man, how you doing? Boom, boom, boom. And it takes 2 seconds. I've got this app that I use called Push Bullet, I think. But any sort of messaging app, text message, old school. Hey, haven't spoken in a while. Hope you are well. How you doing? How are the kids? Blah, blah, blah. And then you make that connection once again that you haven't ring-killed in a while, right? So I just caught up with a bunch of friends who I haven't spoken to in 15, 20 years, and I known them from the temple from back ages ago. Had dinner, and it's like we never left, and it's been more than a decade.
Connection is very important for men. People don't realize that men just want to be loved.
Yeah.
That's all we want. We want to be loved and cared for, and we want food too. There's
And a bit of respect as well.
respect, of course. Yeah, of course, respect. When I say care, that kind of encompasses everything, right? And as an alpha, we are so. I guess society has painted this picture of we can't be soft. We can't talk to each other. I think that's very important. Back in the day, men used to go to battles and they used to have each other. Nowadays, that's taken away from us. So there's no placeholder for chats, because if you notice, we have a lot on our shoulders.
Yeah.
we can't share that with our partners because they won't understand. All they'll think is we're complaining, but we're not. We're just sharing that we're having enough days. We can only confide in other men, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that normalizes the struggles, right? That one is going through. Oh wow, you're having this issue with, the kids or the wife or
With work
or the
or
work
stress,
or business. Yeah, and you're right. That has to be shared with another man.
Yeah. And I think that's very important. And I started doing that when I formed certain groups where I go to guys and I say, "Are you happy?"
Yeah, I've started doing that too.
And it's very different from "Are you okay?"
Yeah,
Because when you ask people, "Are you okay?" they give you a fake answer. Say, "Yeah, mate, I'm good." But when you say, "Are you happy?" it's a very real question. It breaks down barriers, and a lot of people stop. They look you in the eye, and you can see that facade just break, and the real stuff comes out. But after that, what comes out is very beautiful. It's very pure. And if you look at it, men are just small boys in bigger bodies.
it's so true, right?
And they come out with, and the connection is unbelievable. And they say stuff like, "Yeah, mate, just a really, it's sad. Like I've been going through this." And but you should see at the end of that, you can see that they're sad because it takes a lot out of you emotionally. Talk about it, but they're light. And I think that helps you go on for another year and another two.
Absolutely. And you're right, because I've done that as well. I didn't know you were doing it, to be honest. I would be asking that question, "Are you happy?" And now I've got, friends coming, "Hey, Opi, are you happy?" Like in a joking way, because I've asked them and it's triggered them to give me a real response as opposed to, "Yeah, I'm good."
Or not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. When you reflect down and you can't have these conversations with everyone, but when you ask that question, you build up connection.
And you'll notice that the people who aren't on your frequency, and energy and frequency are huge,
100%.
they will go away because some people, when they meet me and I'm at school, they pick up that, "How are you going?" I say, "I'm amazing. How are you?" It's a beautiful day. And they're like, "What?" It's out of the norm, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly you're challenged because they want to complain and you're telling the world is beautiful.
Yeah.
So two things are going to happen. When I tell my boys is when you walk, two things happen. People either speed up to your pace or you slow down to theirs. You just got to pick whether you want to keep operating here and they join you, or do you want to come down to their level.
Yeah.
I always want to operate here because
That's it.
life is too short to be sad. So yeah, energy and frequency. That when you ask the right questions, you get the right answers. Alan Pease,
Yeah.
questions are the answers.
Questions are the answers.
I tell my kids, because how come that we're getting these, we're not getting what we want? I said, because you're asking stupid questions. You ask me the right questions, you'll get the right answers.
Yeah.
I'm hard on my boys. In terms of frequency as well, I tell them like, let's reset.
Yeah.
Because music, words, what we see has an action. It affects us.
And you can see like the fruits of your labor are showing now, like 100%. These kids are resonating at a frequency that's not normal within their age range.
But the thing is, it used to be when we were growing up, we all were like that. What's
That's true.
happened? If you
That's
think
true.
about diet, what they're programming, there's a reason it's called programming because it programs them how to act. I've seen kids in their class yell at the teachers, swear at them, and my boys are just looking at me going, I'm sorry to say, but when I was growing up, all kids were like my kids.
Yeah.
We were like
That's
that.
true. We were like that. We were polite. We were energetic. We were out there. We had an imagination. We were able to play by ourselves without going, "Mommy, Daddy."
We were able to agree to disagree and still be friends. Right now, you cannot have a difference in opinion. Like, we don't agree on everything. So we agree on different things. But the thing is, we are still friends.
Yeah.
I don't see that. Like, two kids, when they're talking, they're like, either I'm right or either I'm right and you're wrong. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. And I see that the challenge, but it always comes down to society. And there's that saying, right? Bad times create, good men. And I think that's what's happening. When that cycle, we're in good times. We're going to create, those kind of men that are not that good. Bad, what are soft men?
Yeah.
Soft men create bad times create good men. And we're going to have that cycle. So understanding cycles is very important. So I always tell my boys, I am not training you for today.
Yeah.
I'm training you for the world for tomorrow. So please know that.
Exactly. Now, look, I've seen you in action, Johnny, and back in the days, you mentioned this earlier. What men had to do was go into battle, right? Or they had to be gladiators and fight to show their courage. But today's courage is completely different. It's standing up for yourself, standing up for bullies, standing up for what's right. I remember a while ago we went to a very simple example, right? We went to a restaurant, and your family and my family, and the waitress comes and tells me she's got four lots of types of water, sparkling.
Yeah.
I don't know, four types of still. I'm like going, I just want some water.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? I'm not used to this fancy yet. And Sheila was like talking down to me, and I'm just going, should I give it to her? Should I be rude? And you put her in her place respectfully. You did not like. Do you know what I mean? You didn't bully.
I didn't flinch. I didn't flinch.
You didn't flinch. You're like, mate, bang. And I'm like, wow, that's how it's done. Like, and it was because she was coming from, unfortunately, just a very condescending, rude demeanor, looking down on us. We're not going to go into the reason why, we don't know. But you're like, hey, this is what we want.
You always need a bigger bully to get a bully. Unfortunately, it's my last resort. But one thing I will not tolerate is, like injustice is something I cannot intolerate.
Yeah.
Like I can't tolerate that. And I tell my kids as well, you need to stand up. There are people less privileged out there that don't have a voice. You need to be a voice.
100%.
Till they find their own.
100%. Yeah. A couple of days ago, we were at Aldi, right? And I'm waiting to get into the car park. And then we were there first, and some other guy was waiting there. Car pulled out, I pulled in. And the kids were going, oh, Dad, he's sort of flicking their hands and, backing out. I'm going, bring it on. Like, I'm not being cocky about it, but I'm at a stage where if he wants a game, like, let's go. Like, I'm not, and that's the self-confidence that you beat up. I might get beaten to a pulp,
That's okay.
but I'm happy to sort of...
You need to stand up for your
I'm able to
family.
stand up for me and my family. And I want that to sort of impart that onto my kids as well. And I feel like the whole testosterone levels have just... And statistically, this is actually true. It has dropped over the decades. And, we're not here to bully people. We're not here to put people down. But the whole alpha male kind of thing of standing up for you and your family and what's right, defending the weak, is just, it's not normalized anymore. The whole toxic masculinity thing is just, crazy, right?
It's crazy, and I also think back in the day is the only way you could solve a fight is you fist up. But also, like nowadays, people are keyboard warriors. They go crazy on their messages.
Yeah.
They never face to face. They don't know what confrontation is.
That's it.
Confrontation is huge in my books.
Yeah.
My kids, when things go wrong in the house, we confront each other.
Yeah.
With the action in mind that we are not confronting the person, we're confronting the issue.
100%.
Fortunately, there's a person behind the issue.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's about understanding what went wrong. Like I was doing this coaching session with my person in the Philippines. I always tell them, firstly, identify the problems. Then ask yourself, why is there a problem? And only then go into solution.
Yeah.
A lot of people straight away go into solution mode. They don't understand why. Who's the problem? Am I the problem here? Is the problem even a problem?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they just go, oh, like as soon as like and my little ones are there. As soon as I start saying, Christopher, have you done this? And he starts doing so. I said, you haven't even heard the problem. So maybe there's not even a problem, and it's about understanding. And I think people don't take time to just internalize what's happening. So, like I told you this the other day, don't absorb, observe.
Yeah, that's profound.
Yeah. So how can you just step away? Like I do this exercise with my older one. Every time he has this, when you do something wrong, you have this self-pity and self-guilt. I tell him, okay, let's step out. I was like, let's have Kai and Daddy sitting there, and both of us, let's step out and observe what's happening. And then it's like, wow. I said, okay, we're observing. We're two people from the outside observing what happened there. So right now, he's not the victim anymore. He's observing a situation.
Yeah.
So I do that with him, and I do that with myself. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed as to what's happening. Like even I'm facing a few challenges personally that I need to deal with. And I did this exercise the other day. It was quiet in the night, and I just sat on the couch, and it's almost like I stepped out of the problem. And I was like, okay, why is this happening? And I went through this whole internal flowchart mechanism thing that entrepreneurs kind of go in their head. And I realized, okay, this is what needs to happen. And then I went back into it. I'm like, okay, cool. This is what needs to happen. Two things happen with that. You come up obviously with a solution, but secondly, it's not weighing on you.
You're observing.
You're observing, you're not absorbing.
Yeah.
And you're able to move faster.
Exactly right. And Robert Kiyosaki talks about this. He learned it from a guy called Bucky Fuller. He goes, a coin has three sides. There's one side, the heads, tails, and the edge. Because your job is to be on the edge and observe what's happening on the left, what's happening on the right. You know, and then you make an informed decision because you're not here or the other, but you're stepping back, as you said, and observing, and then you're able to make an informed, intelligent decision based on the facts that you've got available at the time. And it could be wrong. As you know, as the journey progresses, as the story unfolds, it could be the wrong decision. But you just make the decision and you move on.
There's always, my kids, I'm always trying to tell them that I'm not always right. But there's three versions. There's your version, my version, and the truth. Right? So I said it just depends where we're circulating. And I apologize to them when I do something wrong. Like sometimes I walk into the room and I misread the situation and start yelling at them for some reason.
Yeah.
And then I get told that's totally wrong. And they know it, but also they are respect me enough not to say, oh, you're wrong. I come back to them and I apologize and I say, hey, I misread the situation. I'm totally wrong. I hurt your feelings. Right now I know you're feeling a bit down. Is that I always acknowledge their feelings.
Yeah.
Is that how you feel? And they go, yes. I said, I'm really sorry. What can I do to make it up? Would a hug help? And they go, yes, a hug would help. And then I feel really bad. I just want you to know that I feel really bad for what's happened. Can I make it up to you in any way?
Yeah.
And there's something small. They're like, can you play handball? Or can we just sit down and read me a book? And they move on. Kids move on.
Kids move on.
Kids move on so quickly.
And it's amazing, right? The lessons that you've taught, they replay that back to you. And you're just like, wow. Because I had the same issue where I got angry for an issue that wasn't an issue. And then, my daughter said, Tate, is this, what did she say? Is this an elephant problem or an ant problem or something like that? And I'm like, oh man. So I have to reflect back, swallow my pride, and I was man enough to go, I'm sorry, I apologize. I was wrong.
It's not easy, man.
It's not easy, man. It is not easy, especially when you're the adult and you're apologizing to a 10-year-old and an 80-year-old. I had to do it. I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Our parents never apologized to us.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. I thought it would make me weak. It's made me stronger.
Yeah.
In the family, they actually realize that I'm human and it's okay to apologize. And they apologize so much more better now. There's actually a structured way to give an apology.
Yes.
Richard Hart, one of the people I look forward to, he talks about how to give a good apology.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For those who don't know, look him up. Richard Hart, he's an amazing individual.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
So kids, how you do one thing is how you do everything, I tell them. And they've been my biggest teacher. And to be honest, they are mirrors. If you want to see what kind of person you are, they say, look at your kids.
Look at your kids, yeah.
They are your true mirrors because they learn from you. Unfortunately, they learn from how you talk, how you walk, what you say, how you say. They learn everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So every time my kids are mucking up, it's an internal reflection on me. Sometimes the friends around me, like I try to hang around people that are resonating at a very high frequency because as entrepreneurs, we go through a lot of rejection. So we need to be with that positive kind of ethos, that brotherhood. That's why I talk to you like every day because even though we're going through a million things that are wrong, we look at that one thing that's going right.
Yeah.
That's the difference. We're glass half full people.
And that's the thing, right? When there are certain people that you speak to that brings up that level and you feel empowered after that phone call, there are others who just completely pull you down and you early in your life, I've made the mistake too many times to
give your time to those people.
Yeah, but you really have to focus on those people who can sort of bring you up because there's only so much energy you have that you can actually bring people up. And if they're not doing it,
it drains you.
It drains you. And if they're not helping themselves, and it's a constant issue after issue, you can't
so I walk away from people. I think that's the biggest asset for me right now, saying no, walking away. And people think I'm mean. I'm not being mean. I'm looking after myself. It's two different things.
Yeah. You have to be selfish like that, right?
Because at the end of the day, entrepreneurship, being a dad, just being a good human being is draining. Sometimes I disappeared I disappeared for so many years. Like there was that John who was outgoing, doing all that stuff, and I disappeared.
Yeah.
because sometimes you need to reinvent yourself,
Yeah,
and you can't do it from the same place that created the other person. It has to be from a whole different place. But I think it's the greatest thing. Losing yourself sometimes is the best way to find who you are.
yeah. I mean, you've done incredibly well, Johnny.
Still on that
Seriously.
journey, man. Still on that
Yeah,
journey.
like migrating here by yourself, doing dozens of crappy jobs, getting into corporate life, studying, and finding this entrepreneurial journey, having kids, it's not easy, and you've done well, dude. So I take my hat off to you because I know. I don't know the hardship of migrating to a different country by myself, dude. So you're, on a next level.
Well, it was tough. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of racism. There's a lot, as you know, there's a lot of
Yeah.
things you go as an immigrant.
But we don't play victim, right? It's
No, there's
yeah.
no point.
There's
But
no
I understood people being people.
Yeah.
I've seen that at a very young age. I said, I don't see color, I see people.
Yeah.
I see energies. I see just young kids who went through something, who have got this facade right now and are treating me because of certain experiences. It's not personal.
It's not personal. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You nailed it. And I don't have that, victim mentality. But what can you do? I try and tell my daughter all the time. She comes to me and she goes, "I'm not the fastest person in my school. It's this particular boy." I go, "That's okay. This is obviously a little bit different example, but we're built differently. That's okay. You are different, but you've got all these different advantages, and boys are structurally built differently. That doesn't mean you're worse than him or anything. It's just people are different."
That's great advice because I think we come from a culture where they're always comparing us.
Yeah.
And I've really learned, OP, this is grown-ups as well. Comparison is the killer of joy.
Yeah.
Because we do it, right? Like the moment I start looking, okay, I'm a chai person, but I'm only doing X kilos, but this person is doing 3 times more. We're comparing.
Yeah.
And that kills that inner creativity because now you're focusing on what is not working rather than what is. Even my boys, I tell them, don't worry about the person next to you, just worry about the person who you were yesterday. Try to be better than that person. Compare yourself to that person. So there's always you're working towards a higher self and higher motive. And comparison, and to be honest, I got in that cycle really early on in my entrepreneurship days, but then I had to really, observe and realize that what have I done that's good? And I don't think entrepreneurs are good at doing that. Giving yourself a pat on the back. That's why we need a support network
That's
to
it.
say, because the other person sees what we achieve.
Yeah.
We don't because we're in it.
You're in it. You're in the.
The gist of it.
You're in the jits of it. Yeah.
So, key takeaways, I guess, would be, observe, don't absorb. Make sure there's passion. Execution is key, otherwise it's only a dream.
Nice
And
advice.
most importantly, be kind.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Be
Be
kind.
kind to yourself.
Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and smile. You're not going to get out of your life.
Absolutely.
And I'll see, because energy is amazing. Like, I'm sure we've met in past lives, in past dimensions. Whatever your understanding of the universe is, energy is amazing. That's why, have you come across someone and you've, like us, we didn't know each other, but the moment we met, we were like, we just
Yeah, Brown Brothers.
Brown brothers for life, So I tell that, like, there's certain, you don't need to know someone to know their energy, and energy can neither be created nor destroyed.
Destroyed.
That's the thing with love as well. It transcends borders, and love is funny. It's not just husband and wife or child, and love can be in different forms. Yeah, you cannot know someone and still love them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've covered a lot of topics. Anything else you want to touch on that we haven't talked about?
Just go, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah,
Just
just
do
go
it.
out there and do it. Yeah.
If someone wants to contact you, what's the best method to get in touch with you? Check out your brand, check out your businesses.
Okay, so obviously I am doing a few things. The best way to reach out to me is maybe use my chai brand. Our Instagram is _CHA.I. And you can reach out to any one of the email addresses. On my consultancy, it's boundlesscollective.com.au. That's BOUNDLESSCOLLECTIVE.com.au. As long as I spell collective right. And yeah, if you want to reach out to me, it's through one of those channels, through Instagram or through that email. Yeah.
Awesome. Mr. John Solomon, thanks for your time.
It's
Love you, brother.
pleasure.